countries, women are still considered incapable of being world leaders. Convince these countries that they're wrong.
Okay, that question was a painful truth we hate to accept. Because in that question lies a deep-seated issue we have to discuss. Why do we distrust women leaders?
We've just had a year of seeing women leaders around the globe demonstrate strong, decisive leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic. We also recently saw the first female US Vice President, a woman of color and mixed heritage, take office and be an effective leader. However, research shows that there is still a sense of mistrust and doubt when it comes to the ability of women to lead. Don't believe me? Let's look at the statistics.
The Reykjavik Index for Leadership surveyed 20,000 people in the G7 nations and measured their perceptions about women leaders. Turns out, a significant number of people, also in countries with proven female leadership such as Germany, remain uneasy with the thought of a woman leading, whether in political area or business world. So while women are receiving votes from the electorate, why are they not also receiving votes of confidence? There's not one concrete answer, but there are clues in society that can help us piece together the reason. First, it is more than just an implicit bias. The unconscious beliefs on whether women are incapable of leadership has been one of the most often cited reasons for the persistence of gender disparities in leadership. Unconscious and sometimes conscious beliefs about women include the notion that they are, quote, too emotional or too fragile. This contributes to people's continued lack of confidence in female leadership. However, human culture and psychology are complex and often various factors contribute to the persistence of inequality. Additional forces such as imposter syndrome and masculine paranoia also contribute to the persistence of leadership discrimination amid mountains of evidence demonstrating the effectiveness of women leaders. And imposter syndrome is very gendered too and presents itself as a woman's problem. Well-intentioned writers frequently encourage women to be, quote, more confident, but this places the burden on women. Why? Because instead of blaming women to be confident, we should be critiquing the social and institutional factors that cause women to doubt their success in the first place. Imposter syndrome and anxiety over one's masculinity are both forms of fear, and fear may be one of the deeper reasons for the ongoing lack of trust in women's leadership. It isn't just that people have implicit biases about female leaders, they also feel actively threatened by those leaders. But why would someone feel threatened by a female leader who supposedly lacks the qualities to lead? Unless that person is inwardly insecure on the abilities that person possesses while fearing that she might succeed. Such a scenario would invert gendered expectations, and that must be frightening indeed. We can't just rely on institutions to lead change. Individuals need to share the burden and responsibility by becoming agents of change, and there are a number of ways to do this. 4 words to remember are acknowledge, ask, accept, and apply. First, we need to acknowledge our implicit biases, not just acknowledging the unconscious bias that exists in society, but acknowledge it within yourself. Next is ask. Have the courage to go beyond your comfort zone by engaging with women, people of color, and other marginalized groups, and ask them to share their experiences if they're willing to. Third is accept. Denying is equivalent to silencing. We need to listen to people of marginalized groups as the authorities of their own experiences. This means accepting what they say without immediately getting defensive and reacting. Lastly, apply. The more you acknowledge, ask, and accept, the more you'll understand what needs to be done. You'll see the need to keep learning and applying what you learn in daily life, such as calling out instances of casual sexism or racism.
The biggest obstacle for doing these things is fear. Fear of the discomfort that comes from realizing that you might be part of the problem. Fear of hard work for change. And fear is what makes people default of their implicit biases and activates those biases. By acknowledging, asking, accepting, and applying, this will slowly bring down those implicit biases and make true progress possible.